Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to talk about a new supporter card which has gone and been revealed, and we've got a new Alakazam coming as well that looks pretty tasty. But let's start off with a new supporter card. Let's start off with Hassel. No special versions, no full arts or anything like that today, just the regular supporter. But this one could actually be really good, though there is a big catch. I should mention I've done a translation myself for this, and I haven't actually checked if anyone else. I'm pretty honest, I'm pretty confident about the translation. Could be wrong, don't care, going with it anyway. But I'm sure I'm right, and I'll check before I upload it. What we've got is, you can only use this card if one of your Pokemon was KO'd during your opponent's last turn. Very importantly, it just says your opponent's last turn. It doesn't say by damage from an attack or anything like that. It's just during your opponent's last turn. And you look at the top 8 cards of your deck, choose 3, put them into your hand, and then shuffle the rest into your deck. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Now, this should be reminiscent of a card we've seen before. This is like supercharged Misty's Determination. This is Misty's Determination if Misty's Determination was way better and you could only use it after one of your Pokemon was KO'd. Because Misty's Determination, you discard a card from your hand, look at the top 8 cards of your deck, choose 1 and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Well, here you don't have to discard a card from your hand, and I know sometimes you will want to, but you don't have to here. And you get 3 cards from the top rather than 1. That is a gigantic difference. That makes it a way better card. There is a catch. You had to have a Pokemon KO during your opponent's last turn. The very last ever UK National Championship was won by the lovely Tamal Takeda. And they went and won with a Vesperquen deck. And they actually did it using this card as well. And I'm like, if it's good enough for the reigning UK National Champion, and to be fair, they've been reigning for like 9 years, but it's not the point. If it's good enough for them, and this is a way better version of that, then this is something I think we should absolutely be considering. This is a phenomenal card for digging through your deck and finding what you need. This is a ridiculously good card for, let's take the most aggressive supporter we've got in the game. That's Professor's Research. Problem is, Professor's Research is discard and draw 7. Now, admittedly, you get 7 cards rather than 3. That's a good thing. But you have to discard your entire hand, often not a good thing. And also, you don't actually dig as deep. Sure, you get all 7 cards, but if one of the cards you really need is the 8th card in your deck, Professor's Research won't get it. This will. In a deck where you're expecting to have Pokemon KO'd, single prize decks, etc. fairly regularly, I think this is legitimately a great supporter. I don't think it's for every deck. I don't think every deck is going to be able to use it perfectly. But where you have a deck that can use this, you're literally digging through the top 8 cards of your deck. That is extremely impactful and very good, and that's why I'm giving this one a 4 Wassies. I think this is a really good card. I think this has got great digging potential, and frankly, I'm a fan. So yay! But I did promise you an Alakazam as well, so let's have a chat about a new Alakazam. And something that makes me very happy, Kadabra's just back. In 151, we had Kadabra back. After 20 years, Kadabra was just back, and Pokemon basically stopped having to find really creative ways to still use Alakazam without mucking around trying to exclude Kadabra. Kadabra is back here, and actually all 3 of the line are actually kind of interesting. So the Abra's got Teleporter, which just once during your turn, if it's active, lets you shuffle it back into your deck. It's not amazing, but it's actually kind of nice as a cheeky pivot option. Put it in the active, set up your bench how you need, and then shuffle this back in and hopefully search it back out. It is very, very, very appropriate, given how Abra works in the video games, so that at least makes me happy. Kadabra might be in evolving stage 1, but it's actually got a really nice attack. Psychic. And what we've got here is single psychic energy, 10 damage plus 30 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And look, I know 10 plus 30 does not exactly ramp up in damage that fast. I am aware of this, I acknowledge this, I know that this is a thing. However, it's still pretty good, and it will still get a bunch of KOs, and it's still going to be a good attack here and there. Is it going to be perfect and wonderful and lovely? I mean, maybe. Maybe not. But as a little emergency attack, here or there, because you don't have your Alakazam handy, yeah, man, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. But the star of the line is, of course, Alakazam, and Alakazam looks good. Also, I did translations for this one myself, and I'm very proud of myself because this one has lots and lots of characters on and looked kind of awkward and annoying. And I did it myself, and yeah, I am legitimately proud of myself. But anyway, what does it actually do? Less about my translations, more about the card. Will single psychic energy. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. You may move any number of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon to your opponent's other Pokemon in any way that you like. And I love this. This is perfect if you're playing a spread deck or just any time in the game where you've got a bunch of damage on the field. If there's a bunch of damage on the field, why not? Honestly, why not? Spread it all around. And here's the thing, though. We've seen these kind of things before, where you're spreading damage around the field, where you're taking your opponent's damage and moving it somewhere else. But I think the key here is that your opponent's active is also confused. So here, we're in this super annoying situation, super annoying for your opponent, not for yourself, where you can basically just move the damage around, but then also leave them confused. So now, oh no, they've got to figure out what are they going to do in terms of, are they going to get their Pokemon out the active? Are they going to risk the confusion flip? And then if they flip tails, their attack fails and they take some damage. And I love this. I think this is brilliant. And look, it's only going to be for some decks. There's basically two ways this is going to work. Either that you just happen to have a bunch of damage left on the field so you take advantage, or you are playing a bit of a spread deck. You are specifically spreading damage around so that you can then use Alakazam to move it where you want. And I think it's something like the new Ting Lu. The Ting Lu that's Japan got in Crimson Haze, we're getting in Twilight Masquerade. Because single fighting energy, 30 damage, but if there's a stadium in play, you discard it and deal 30 to each of your opponent's bench. That can add up very, very quickly. If your opponent has a full bench, that's 180 damage going on the board for a single energy for a basic Pokemon. And a lot of the time you'd be like, yeah, but it's 30 to everything. Nah, mate. Because Alakazam means you can put it wherever you want and confuse the active. I really like this attack. But we've also got a second attack here, which is going to start looking rather familiar. Because what we've got here is single psychic energy, 10 damage, plus 50 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And basically, this is Kadabra's attack, but stepped up. I love it. I think this is legitimately really good. And now, like, if your opponent's got 4 energy on, we know you're hitting 210, which is actually kind of annoying because 220 and 230, they are key numbers in the Pokemon TCG. Pokemon V generally go up to 220, and basic EXs, some of them have 220, some of them do actually go up to 230, which is, you know, kind of annoying. But if your opponent puts lots of energy on, you can absolutely punish them for that. And I kind of love this, honestly. Because you've got 2 really useful attacks. Now, yes, we do need to make the point that it is a stage 2. And yes, stage 2s are more awkward to get out. I understand all of this. This is not lost on me. But I don't really mind very much. Because firstly, I like all of this. And secondly, we've got other Alakazam. We've got Alakazam EX, for instance, who's got a really nice attack, 2 energy, 120, it can be used on the bench, so you can sit behind something like a Klefki, for instance, using this, but while I'm doing that, I've also got these other 2 really useful attacks, So while my opponent's building up their Pokemon, if they put lots of energy on, boom, I can punish them. If I use this Alakazam to spread lots of damage around the field, I can then bring this new Alakazam up and take multiple prizes in one go and completely ruin my opponent's day. And that's why I like this. We've got Alakazam EX, which is also good. We've got two really useful attacks that do different things to give you a bunch of options, and I just think there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I'm giving this a tentative 4 Wassies, because I know that's actually very generous, and I know this is a stage 2, but I also know there's a lot I like here, so I'm giving it 4 Wassies, and it's my video, so I totally can. So there we go. I promised you a new supporter, and I showed you one. I promised you a new Alakazam, and I showed you one. So now it's over to you guys. Do you think Hassel is going to work in a bunch of decks for giving you that extra consistency boost, or do you think it's too specific? Do you think Alakazam's attacks can lead you to victory, or is it another stage 2 that's not going to work? Let me know in the comment section. Good us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Ray of Light, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.